featuring the world's best riders, Tony Ricketson, Tomasz Golob, and Jason Crump. Today, Speedway's World Cup reaches its climax. Riders, start your engines.
Welcome to the East of England showground near Peterborough. Despite Team Great Britain being knocked out in Thursday's race-off, a big crowd has turned out to see one of Speedway's greatest events. This is the Speedway World Cup. Defending champions Australia take on the best five-man teams from Sweden, Poland, the Czech Republic and Denmark.
Starting Marshall gets them in line. The referee tonight is Marek Wojciech, who comes from Katowice in Poland. He's looking down from above. Away goes the starting Marshall. Up by the tapes, away on the inside in green goes Alice Dribble to pick it up. In second place in white there for the Danes is Nicky Pedersen. Moving through now into second place in red. A great ride by Todd Wiltshire. Right to the back in blue. Peter Protasevich on his home track, a disappointment. But a real flyer for the tape for Alice Dribble.
Superstar from Alice Dribble really made that gate one pay. Great first corner from Todd Wiltshire where he cut back up the inside and forced through into second place and knocked the reigning World Championship leader out of the way, Tony Ricketson. But Dribble looks good out front now.
Yes, Dribble with half the race gone now. The track conditions very wet, but I can tell you sunshine is about to hit this East of England showground. Conditions could be much better from now on. A bit processional this one with a lap and a quarter to go. Alice Dribble for the Czech Republic in green leads going into the final lap. Todd Wiltshire for Australia in second place. White in third is Nicky Pedersen. In yellow in fourth place Tony Ricketson, the world champion. And right at the back is Peter Protasevich. Not what we would have picked, but a brilliant ride by this man to take the checkered flag in the green helmet colours. Alice Dribble. Second in red for Australia is Todd Wiltshire. Third in white for Denmark. That's
inside. And the Danish rider there, Ronnie Pedersen, in gate 3, that hasn't been favourable so far in this five-rider format.
Oh, and straight into the tapes first. For my money goes Jason Lyons, who will have to be the man excluded here. Right now, the man in green won the first heat. Could he do it again? A flyer from Tomasz Golob up the inside for Poland in blue. The man in white in second place is Ronnie Pedersen, who races well on this track. Moving through in yellow there for Sweden is Niklas Klingberg. And Klingberg goes through on the inside, but down comes Ronnie Pedersen. And our referee will probably have to stop it, and has again, with Ronnie Pedersen going down.
Yeah, here we'll see it again. Ronnie Pedersen as Klingberg enters there. He's just he just about got half his bike in front of Ronnie Pedersen, and then Pedersen seemed to react to try and lean on him. They clashed as they went down. The track conditions are slippery, and his left leg was taken from him, and down he went. But White has been excluded, as we've just heard from the referee, so he's seen it that Pedersen probably reacted too late to the pass from the Swede as he entered that third corner on the first.
The riders now have to contend with 4 laps coming up into. Away we go on the inside. Tomasz Golob has plenty of space in yellow. Giving him a race is Niklas Klingberg. At the back in green, that's Thomas Topinka. Remember, the poles in blue. In yellow, it's Sweden throughout the meeting. In green, that's the Czech Republic. That's her guy here now. Golob in front. In second place is Klingberg. Third now is Topinka. And they seem to be riding with some care, Kelvin.
Yeah, there's no incident so far in this race. Pretty much straightforward first lap there. Golob got away, came under a little bit of pressure from Klingberg, but he's held the inside line. And at the moment, it's 1, 2, 3, and no fireworks flying at the moment.
Tomasz Golob down the back straight, having time to look back with some comfort here. The 4 points here would be valuable to the Poles. Remember, they were scoreless in the first outing. The Australians admitted from this now. So too are the Danes, but into second place there in yellow. Necessary points too coming for Sweden. Thomas Topinka at the back. The 2 points here will be enough to keep the Czech Republic in the lead with 2 heats gone. But Tomasz Golob in the blue helmet colours wins it. Well, I think only just, but I think Golob got that. But he nearly had a real surprise from the man in yellow, Niklas Klingberg, and Thomas Topinka third in green. But for my money, desperately close. But I think it was Golob getting it. Tomasz Golob on the line. He's satisfied now. Green lights on. Up by the tapes and away they go. And a great start on the inside for Lee Adams. Moving in behind him in yellow there and working well is Peter Carlson. But coming through very rapidly, young Charlie Jader. And in third place in yellow is Peter Carlson. Surprising at the back, Lucas Dribble. But he now moves into fourth place to relegate the pole. Krzysztof Cegielski to last. But what a start by Lee Adams.
Fantastic getaway from Lee Adams. Real class. Nice clean sweep around the inside on the first turn. Great moves by Jader, but Peter Carlson's now moved through into second place. Lucas Dribble back in fourth. Surprisingly, the pole right at the back.
Lee Adams it is in front there, as you see on your screen. They're now stretching out behind him because the man in yellow in second place, that's Peter Carlson. A big gap now to Charlie Jada in third. Lucas Drimmel in fourth place with some comfort now. The surprise for me is Krzysztof Cegielski right at the back as they stretch out now round the final lap. Half a lap to go for Lee Adams, but those guys are battling for the minor places in white there. Certainly Charlie Jada looks set for third place, but the winner, no doubt about it, in red is Lee Adams. Second place in yellow goes on. Again, they're in line. Remember, 5 riders, same helmet colours throughout. A referee holds them at tapes. The tapes nearly went there. Nearly flying into them was Hans Andersen. Andersen now is edged wide indeed by Bo Brahel. How he stayed on, I do not know. But out front in blue, Jarek Hampel riding just as he did at Eastbourne. Second place held by Michael Carlson. Moving into third place now, Bo Brahel in green. In red in fourth is Jason Crump with work to do. And right at the back in white is Hans Andersen. But what a ride by Jarek Hampel.
Yeah, Hampel picking up from where he left on Tuesday night. So good at Eastbourne. A great performance so far here in this race. But Jason Crump missed the start, but he's battling away and he's putting Michael Carlson under a lot of pressure at the moment.
Yes, certainly wide out front is Jarek Hampel, looking good for the poles now and looking them set perhaps for a World Cup title here. Back in second place, Michael Carlson for Sweden. He's now being put under pressure with a lap and a quarter to go by Jason Crump, who's making ground, has already gone past Bo Brahel. Crump is on the hunt, and Crump in pursuit down the back straight there in the red helmet colours. Hampel, though, is way out front. Hampel set for the checkered flag. Crump is still coming in third place. He will have to be content, but he certainly gets that third place behind the man in yellow, Michael Carlson, for
Gate 3 position.
Yes, I know Kelvin doesn't fancy it at the moment, nor does Ron Sullivan. He's in trouble, and Ron Sullivan goes right across the track, bundles into the man in blue, Greg Valasek. Sullivan completely losing control, and I'm sure the referee will exclude him. I've never seen Ron Sullivan on this track do that.
Valasek on the outside, but now Ryan Sullivan seems to lift. He catches Bjarne Pedersen's handlebar. He's out of control and just takes the front wheel away from Valasek, and down he goes. He's left with absolutely nowhere to go, and
nowhere to go. Indeed, the referees put all 4 back in. That's a surprise, Kelvin.
Well, little 5 actually, Tony, but here we'll see it again. Ryan Sullivan lifting, bounces into Bjarne Pedersen and then just takes the front wheel away from Valasek and really is far wider than anybody else. Here we see it again. Bjarne Pedersen lifting. Now we'll see Ryan Sullivan all out of control. The front wheel wild out in the air. And then he just goes straight across in front of Valasek, and to be perfectly honest, that was quite generous from the referee to put all 5 riders back.
Let me put you on the spot, Kelvin. You're the referee, Mr. Wojcik. Would you have excluded him?
I think I would have had a no up
along the start line. The start marshal there getting them into line. A busy man with 5 riders. He moves away. The tape's held, but up they go. Up they fly. And certainly a fly for Stefan Andersen in front now. But round moves Ryan Sullivan in red. And on this track, it's surprising that 1 goes by him, 2 go by him. You don't normally see that of Ryan Sullivan at Peterborough. And the leader now is Stefan Andersen for Sweden. For Denmark, Bjarne Pedersen second place. Ryan Sullivan third in red. And back in blue is Greg Valasek right at the back, Tony Casper.
Well, Stefan Andersen got away nicely, but just drifted a little bit wide. Ryan Sullivan turned up the inside, got too much grip, lifted, nearly clouded the fence. But and then they'd see the Sweden, the Dane got by him, but Ryan Sullivan riding a fantastic corner there.
Right, the battle for second place there, of course. Ryan Sullivan moves through on the inside, round that pit's bend, right through on the inside of Bjarne Pedersen. But still, Stefan Andersen picking his line on the track with a lap to go. And Stefan Andersen, a bit of a surprise packet, a late replacement, of course, for Andreas Jonsson in the Swedish side. But he is doing his part here to keep the Swedes in front. And Stefan Andersen is going to win this one with some comfort. And he does in the end. But Ron Sullivan gets through into second place in red. Third place, Sullivan gets through into second place in red. Third place in white for the Danes. Once again for Bjarne Pedersen. And Poland have to
across the centre green and then just got caught up with the wiring now on the grass.
Well, they're going without him, and away goes heat number 6, and there we go. And on the inside in green, that's Thomas Topinka, but he's headed down by the rider in white. Hans Andersen in red, chasing him down the outside. Todd Wiltshire comes through to pick up the lead for the Australians. Packing in 2 behind him in the yellow helmet colours. That's Peter Carlson. We're going wider and wider. Hans Andersen has found a line, and he will now pursue that line round the outside in pursuit of Todd Wiltshire.
Yeah, good first corner there from the Dane, but Todd Wiltshire turned back up the inside and got his wheel in front. But oh, here comes Andersen back in the picture.
Yes, Anderson, Wiltshire will come back on the inside and does now. It's a ding-dong battle. Anderson in white, almost on the grass, taking the man in red, Tom Wiltshire wide.
Will he do it again,
Wiltshire will
Tony?
come back up the inside and does on that bend. And with just a lap and a quarter to go, remember, Anderson for Denmark in white, Wiltshire for Australia in red. Back in third place, Peter Carlson in yellow. Right at the back is Thomas de Pinker, but these two are having the race of the night. There goes Wiltshire on the outside, going the long way round. Will he kid him? Will he come back up the inside? Will he come again, Wiltshire? No, he doesn't. It's won in the end by the man in white. What a race for Hans Andersen, ahead of Tom Wiltshire in red for the Australians. Third in yellow is Peter Carlson, back at his capabilities. We know what sort of rider he is these days. Away goes that Charlie Marshall, up by the tape. Protasevich holds it on the inside, picks up the lead, but now the chase is on for the man in white. Bjarne Pedersen goes right round the field to pick up the lead for Denmark, ahead of Protasevich. Now following him in yellow, Michael Carlson picks the same line to move into second place. Back in fourth place in green is Lucas Trimmel, right at the back in red, that's Jason Lyons. But some riders picking a different line from others, and it's profited for the front two.
Certainly Bjarne Pedersen seems to have found a line a little bit wider, and he got a great run around the first corner and went straight by Protasevich, as did Michael Carlson as they came into the third and fourth corner on the first lap. But certainly the Scandinavians are dominating this race.
And the racing line seems to be moving wider and wider. Right at the back in red, Jason Lyons not having a great World Cup. In they go to the final lap with Bjarne Pedersen in front of Michael Carlson. Denmark ahead of Sweden. Remember the colours, they stay in these throughout the meeting. Denmark in white, Sweden in yellow. Third place for Poland, Peter Protasevich in blue. A battle at the back, now seeing Lucas Trimmel holding off his band to take fourth place here. But a brilliant ride there in white for Denmark by that winner Bjarne Pedersen, ahead of in yellow second place fellow Scandinavian Michael Carlson. Peter Protasevich in blue took third place, having led from the start. Back in fourth was Lucas Trimmel in green. That's how they finished. It was another, once again, quite a race here. Sweden, a winner last time out, Mohammed Brahel goes in gate 4, and on the outside that's Nicky Pedersen, and a bit of tape touching there, man in green's excluded. Bo Brahel is out, and he won't like that. Mohammed Brahel excluded on the outside. Oh, that's Nicky Pedersen on new machine, but away they go. Golub struggles to keep it in line, but holds it there to take the lead. But the grip is on the outside, and the man on the outside is Lee Adams, not making ground. And Golub holds this. Round the outside now behind him goes Stefan Andersen to try and pick up some distance. And Andersen is making progress to go round Lee Adams right at the back in white. It's a disappointing Nicky Pedersen.
Yeah, good start by Golub. Just for a second there, I thought that Lee Adams may have had the better of him, but Golub made a great first turn and got away. Lee Adams settling down in second place, and Nicky Pedersen putting Stefan Andersen under a lot of pressure as they entered that corner.
Oh, we almost goes into Stefan Andersen in third place there. We see Andersen looking back on the inside. He was taken wide. Almost an apology, I think, there from Nicky Pedersen. But out of the front, there's no doubt about the quality of that man Thomas Golub as he goes into the final lap ahead of Lee Adams, both Grand Prix riders supreme. Nicky Pedersen is back in third place. Golub all over the track, all over his machine indeed. Right at the back now is Andersen, covered in shale from head to foot. But as the checkered flag approaches, it goes to Thomas Golub in blue, ahead of Lee Adams in red. Third place in white goes to Nicky Pedersen. Remember, 25 heats this meeting. Away they go. Left at the tapes was Tony Casper, but a fly for Jason Crump, who seems to have it right this time. Round the outside in blue goes Krzysztof Cegielski down the back straight to move into second place. He's being followed by Tony Rickardsson, who's trying to pick up the line, has now got third place, but still has work to do as he drops back to fourth. Right at the back is Casper, but Crump has stolen the march of the field.
Fantastic start from Jason Crump on the inside. There we go. And we just see that Ronnie Pedersen's bike stopped there, Tony.
Not a great night for Ronnie Pedersen. No points for the Danes in that one. Mechanical failure for him. It doesn't stop Jason Crump out front here now. The man in second place in blue remains Krzysztof Cegielski. Still work to do for the out of touch and seemingly out of form world champion Tony Rickardsson there in third place in the yellow helmet colour. Into the final lap goes Jason Crump, again stretching his lead with every turn of the wheel ahead of Krzysztof Cegielski for Poland. Back in third place for the Swedes is Tony Rickardsson. Back at the rear is Tony Casper, who's going to get a consolation point. But the Aussies will remember this ride from Jason Crump in the final countdown for Poland in blue. Cegielski in second place. Tony Rickardsson third in yellow. The most disappointing of the Swedes, it has to be said, so far tonight. And at the rear in green is
his first one, so A lot of expectation on this race.
Away they go then for heat number 10 as the takes fly up, and a real flyer on the inside for Nicholas Klingberg. But look at the man in blue. Jarek Hampel has come from the outside gate.
Oh,
to go
Sullivan's
by
at the
1,
back.
2, 3 and move into second place. Right at the back is Ron Sullivan, not for the first time tonight, struggling on his home track. But Sullivan now has real work to do, and the poles out front with Jarek Hampel pursued by Nicholas Klingberg. Third place now held by Charlie Jada, but here comes Sullivan.
Great move from Ryan Sullivan there, just went straight between the Swede and the Czechoslovakian rider, and really seems to be picking up the pace now and putting pressure onto the Swede.
Only half the race gone. Has Sullivan got enough to make ground to gain one more place over Nicholas Klingberg? Down the back straight they go with a lap and a half to race. But Jarek Hampel, who's looking a super rider in this World Cup, he was truly brilliant at Eastbourne on Tuesday, and looking good again now. But here comes Sullivan round the pitch bend. Ron Sullivan, he will cut back on the inside and now put Klingberg under some pressure. But the track is running out. Round to the last two bends. Out front in blue, that's Jarek Hampel. He's going to win it. Second place in the end goes to Nicholas Klingberg for Sweden in yellow to put them marginally in front. In third place, Ron Sullivan. He's the man that counts double. The splendid Danish team spirit. Will he come to the fore? He gets the start he wanted. Will they cut across? The man in blue is Thomas Golub, who's fast. He's picked that racing line and he's down the outside. But Bjarne Pedersen is in second place for double points. Now being pursued by Michael Carlson on the outside where the grip counts. He moves into second place. Back in fourth is Todd Wiltshire right to the rear in green Tony Casper.
Fantastic start from Thomas Golub from the outside. Didn't think that was possible, but he made it. Bjarne Pedersen into second place, and Michael Carlson really going for it in the deep third on the outside.
Well, the Danes may be happy with 6 points, which they get, but Bjarne Pedersen is now challenging for front place. He's got by Michael Carlson again for Sweden. Carlson, remember, in the yellow helmet colour. The man out front wobbling a little bit is Thomas Golub, and with a lap to go, the big Pole, 6 times Polish champion, is looking for his fourth win, his third win in 3 rides tonight. He's looking back. He sees Bjarne Pedersen in close attendance. The Danes could be happy with this one, but Golub looks set to take the checkered flag for Poland in blue. Second place, Bjarne Pedersen in white. Third in yellow for the Swedes is Michael Carlson. Right in red, Todd Wiltshire. Our referee is a Pole, Mr. Marek Wojciech from Katowice. Away they go on the inside. Pole to the fore this time is Krzysztof Cegielski in the blue helmet colours, who's got a flyer. Now the pursuit is on, but coming through the pack like a knife through butter is Jason Lyons, sending wide the man in white, Hans Andersen, who comes back well into second place, and maybe he did it deliberately in pursuit of Krzysztof Cegielski. And for Hans Andersen, this is a fairy tale.
Fantastic first lap from Cegielski, but Hans Andersen is riding out of his skin. I've never seen the guy ride so well. He just seems to be so brave and so pumped up, putting the pole under a tremendous amount of pressure.
Having to get the tear-offs off as the shale and the mud and the dirt and the rain gets on the front of his visor. But look at that down the back straight. Krzysztof Cegielski, of course, a rider with Poole last year. Hans Andersen, a rider for Poole now, but the battle in third place is important in this. Coming through now, Jason Lyons, ahead of the Czech Alice Drimmel, right at the back in yellow to relegate Sweden's chances is Stefan Andersen. But look at the gap there for the man out front. Krzysztof Cegielski, the Pole in pole position, is going to take the checkered flag now in blue. A brilliant ride too by Hans Andersen in white. And it has in third place there. I think it went to the man in green, Alice Drimmel.
Yeah, I think so. It was very tight on the line there.
Ahead of the Australian in red, Thomas Golub. And that was the first heat in which Australian in red, Thomas Golub. And that was the first heat in which Sweden in the polls. They've had 5 individual heat winners tonight. Jarek Hampel's provided 2 of them. Could this be number 3 for him? Golub's had 3 rides, 3 wins. They're going well. Way on the inside though now goes the rider in white, Bjarne Pedersen, to pick up the lead. Round the outside in red is Lee Adams, having to try to move into second place down that back straight, and does, ahead of the man in third, Tony Ricardson. Can Ricardson get back in this? We've lost the man in green, Thomas Topinka, down the back straight. Back in blue for Poland is Jarek Hampel. This will close the order up if it stays like this. Can Tony Ricardson make ground?
I don't know if he can, but Bjarne Pedersen certainly looks good tonight. He looks world class this evening. He's out in front, looking smooth. Ricardson putting a lot of pressure on Lee Adams, but not making any headway at the moment.
Well, it wasn't a bad ride by Hampel, who almost took Ricardson there, and is trying again on that pitch bend, but Ricardson will have grip on the outside to retain third place, but just. He's making no ground on the front two whatsoever. Bjarne Pedersen in white leads again. Ahead of him, red Lee Adams for Australia, but this will keep it very, very close indeed into the cumulative countdown here. Down the back straight, half a lap to go. Bjarne Pedersen for Denmark in the white helmet colours looks set to win this, barring catastrophe. Second place for the Australians. Lee Adams in red will get to that checkered flag ahead of Tony Ricardson, again in yellow. Ricardson has not made the top two in any of his three rides so far. Fourth in blue there. As in white is Nicky Pedersen. Our starting marshals struggling to get them up to tapes now. The drizzle continues to come down, but the green light's on. The tapes fly up, down, another flyer on the inside. This time for Denmark's Nicky Pedersen. Coming through in blue for Poland is Greg Vanasek. Putting him under pressure in green on the outside is Lucas Drimmel, who now goes to the front. But look at the Australian in red, Jason Crump, who's come from nowhere, holding that inside gate. But now he's pushed backwards.
Breath down the straight, Tony. Unbelievable first lap. Throw a blanket over all of them. Fantastic first lap from Jason Crump. He was nowhere and he's come through into second place.
Look at the effort though of Lucas Drimmel, who stretched it while they were battling it for second place. Lucas Drimmel has picked his line now, going wider and wider to more and more grip and extending his lead. But Jason Crump's effort there, with the Czech Republic effectively out of this competition, could be enough to put Australia well and truly back towards the driving seat. A lap and a quarter to go. Lucas Drimmel in the lead for the Czech Republic.
Klingberg stopped. Klingberg's got an engine failure in the middle of that corner. That's disastrous for the Swedes. That puts the Danes back up into third place.
Yes, disaster for Sweden, who of course were in the lead here, and well, these mechanical gremlins have struck, but they haven't struck this man here, as Lucas Drimmel is going to take the checkered flag for the Czech Republic in green, but Jason Crump in red for Australia. Those 3 points will be invaluable ahead of the Danes in white with Nicky Pedersen. How close he is to that, man. Shouldn't have been allowed. Away they go. Peter Protasevich will have to go wide, but coming through on the inside is Ron Sullivan. Ron Sullivan, the Aussie, picks it up, but Protasevich in blue is moving into second place for Poland, having gone right round the field at the back. Third place occupied by Ronnie Pedersen. On the outside in green, moving back to last place is Bo Brahel. In yellow in third place is Peter Carlson. But for the Australians, as the Czechs go out again with Bo Brahel, it's a good ride for the man in front, Ron Sullivan.
Ryan Sullivan back to his best here. Superb getaway from that inside start. Protasevich really rode well round the outside the first corner, and we're just seeing him. But Ronnie Pedersen and Carlson having a real ding-dong fight there.
Yeah, certainly moving into third place there, Ronnie Pedersen, but he's still going to be put under pressure, I'm sure, by Peter Carlson with a lap and a half to go. But the leader, Ron Sullivan, having just the race he wanted to for the Australians here. Ron Sullivan didn't start exactly as he intended, but certainly now looking impressive here on his home league track, and looking set for his first heat victory of the night for Ron Sullivan in the red helmet colours, and that will put the Australians in the lead. Ron Sullivan will take the checkered flag in red, and does, in second place in blue for Poland. Keeping them very much in contention is Peter Protasevich. Ronnie Pedersen's luck has changed slightly for Denmark into third place. Right at the back of the four that finished is Peter Carlson in yellow for Sweden. While our referee Marek Wojciech has his finger on the button, he waits for this starting marshal to move away. Away they do in red. Todd Wiltshire gets a flyer. This is what they want, but cutting through the inside is Niklas Klingberg to put Sweden back in contention. Coming through in green, a surprise ride by Bahamel Brahel, going round the field at the back.
Segelski round the outside.
Segelski, it was going round the back, but he's still back in last place. There wasn't room on that bend for the manoeuvre that he intended, but out front Todd Wiltshire now is ahead of in yellow Niklas Klingberg. The Aussies want this, but look at the battle in third place there between the rider in green, Bo Brahel, and the rider in white on the inside, now relegated to fourth place, is Bjarne Pedersen.
Certainly that Bjarne Pedersen struggling there off that gate 4 position, but out front there we see Todd Wiltshire taking full advantage of the inside, but just for a moment Klingberg came into the picture, but Wiltshire's back out in front, and Klingberg back in second place.
This will be enough to keep the Aussies in front. The Poles will continue to regret that failure to use the joker when they should have done, with their man in fourth place, but with half a lap to go here in the red helmet colours. Todd Wiltshire wins it for Australia now. Second place in yellow. A good ride there by Nicky Pedersen, and in third place Bahamel.
Find something that works, and we'll just have to see now.
All right, back to you guys.
Away we go. I think the Swedes need a lecture in mathematics. Out front now, Lucas Dribble in green is overtaken by the man young Peter Carlson. But down on the fence bends go Jason Lyons for Australia. Catastrophe for them. It won't help the Swedes as their tactical substitute, but it will help them to catch the Aussies, and maybe they prefer to do it this way, because if Jason Lyons is excluded from this race, from the rerun, it will mean the Aussies
do this time.
Czechs, remember, in the green helmet colour, going for double points, and they get a flyer on the inside from Lucas Drimmel, who could be set for 8 points here tonight now in this race. In second place in yellow for Sweden, valuable points for them for Peter Carlson, but going round the outside in white is Nicky Pedersen, making ground and trying to move into second place. Right at the back for Poland, disappointment for Jarek Hampel, but he's not done yet either. There are 2 races going on, but Lucas Drimmel heads the field down the back straight.
Yeah, great start from Lucas Drimmel off the inside. Superb away there. Hampel completely missed it on gate 3 there, getting it away. Nicky Pedersen doing all the stuff around the outside, looking tremendous, but not quite making it. And Peter Carlson putting Drimmel under a lot of pressure.
Right in the track where Nicky Pedersen is, you have to get it exactly right. He could still do so yet with a lap and a quarter to go. Pedersen in the white helmet colour for Denmark, going to move into second place round this pit bend now as he takes Peter Carlson, or tries to, but Carlson comes through on the inside, mounts a challenge on Drimmel. Drimmel holds on, into the final bend they go. One of the best races of the night so far. Drimmel in green will hang on to it. Second place goes to Peter Carlson in yellow for Sweden, and beaten but not disgraced is Nicky. Justice, the crowd, a big one here at the East of England Showground. Away they go, and struggling there, the man in green, Alice Drimmel is left, but picking up in white. Out front is Ronnie Pedersen. Round the outside in red goes to pick up the lead, Lee Adams for Australia. Following him round in blue is Greg Balasek from the back for Poland, relegating the Czech down to 4th place. But the Czech does a brilliant ride, Alice Drimmel there to move into second place, leaving the Swede Michael Carlson at the back and turning the table at the moment almost on its head. But Lee Adams down the back straight has stolen it for the Aussies to increase their lead.
Fantastic first lap from Lee Adams. Proved us all wrong that gate 3 was so bad. He made it work for him. Alice Drimmel coming through into second place, superb effort, and Michael Carlson there really struggling again. He was speaking in the pits to Jonathan Green, can't find the right setup tonight, but certainly Lee Adams looks like his bike's working beautifully.
If the Swedish riders had ridden to form, the form we know, they could have been well in charge here, but certainly the big guns have missed out. Michael Carlson and Tony Rickardson tonight, but not this man. Lee Adams is coming right for Australia at the right time. They went into this heat in the lead, and this man is going to keep them well and truly in the lead. The wheelie across the line for Lee Adams in red. The Czech, Alice Drimmel, gets second place. Are the Czechs to be reborn here? His brother Lucas won the previous. Alice Drimmel gets second place. Are the Czechs to be reborn here? His brother Lucas won the previous race. Third in white goes to take a ride, and he's taking that of Thomas to Pinker. Charlie Jader is the Dane. He goes into white helmet, goes from gate 3. On the inside in green is Alice Drimmel. Away they go. Drimmel again gets a fly, but on the outside, Jason Crump is going to provide the main threat, because he's picking a racing line that gets grip and moves into second place and goes out in pursuit of Alice Drimmel. Goes wide round Alice Drimmel. Drimmel takes him wide. Crump will have to come back up the inside, and does. Back down to the back, a machine flying. Oh dear, the referee has to stop that, and the Dane Charlie Jader has bundled into the...
Now there's Drimmel out in front. Here we see Stefan Andersen out of shape in the deep stuff on his own, and he just slides bang straight into the safety fence with his back, and I'm sure he's feeling very sore.
Not a great week for Eastbourne riders. Tony Spard, Mark Laram and Stefan Andersen, all in the space of 5 days, all taking a tumble in World Cup practice or event.
Yeah, I'm sure that their promoters, John Cook and Terry Russell, are just feeling, crikey, what else can go wrong for us? But that was an accident all on his own in that deep, sloppy dirt out there on the outside.
To get underway here, away goes our starting marching. Just 4 riders in the restart. Jason Crump with a flyer from the outside, but a good start on the inside by the Czech Alice Drimmel. And the Drimmel brothers have now had 3 heats in a row. Could the Czechs dramatically get back into this? Crump is in pursuit of Drimmel. In white in 3rd place, Charlie Jader. Right at the back for Poland, Peter Protasevich. But Alice Drimmel is flying.
Fantastic start from Drimmel around the inside, and really riding a nice tight line and keeping his speed up. Jason Crump desperately trying the outside line again, but just not trying to be able to generate the speed he normally does. But here he comes. Crumpy's not giving in.
Crumpy certainly not giving in. Nearly half the race still to go. He's in pursuit, but Alice Dribble could be set to win another heat, and this is a purple patch at the moment. And looking ahead to those jokers possibly in the next heat, the Australian in second place will be enough to allow both Poland and Sweden to use a joker. This heat's not over though. Down the back straight goes Alice Dribble in green. He looks back. Crump is still trying. Crump is going to come round the outside. Will he dive back on the inside? Crump is keeping going. Dribble looks both ways, enough to see him win it ahead of Jason Crump in red. Third in white is Charlie Jader for the Danes, and disappointment for the Poles at the back, with Peter Protasevich. 5 riders, 5 nations. Red Australia, blue Poland, white is Denmark, yellow Sweden, green to the front goes Lucas Dribble, but he's pushed out there, and Lucas Dribble has an engine failure. The Czechs' hopes have gone here now as Lucas Dribble is out, but down the back straight in red goes Ron Sullivan to head Tony Ricardson in second place. Coming through is Thomas Gollop to battle the world champion. Ricardson needs to have the race of his life here now in pursuit of track specialist Ron Sullivan. Gollop is going by Ricardson as well, tailed off his hands Anderson, but can they catch Ron Sullivan?
Oh, I don't think they can now. Sullivan just went straight by Ricardson, no problem at all. Tony did ride a hard first corner, but Sullivan just generated all that speed. Got to put a bit of pressure onto Ricardson, but right now it looks settled that Ricardson's holding on to that second place and at 6 points at the moment.
Ricardson in voluntary lifting of his machine, not looking the man totally in command of track conditions we normally see. Tony Ricardson, a maximum of course down at Paul in midweek in the qualifier for this, but not the same rider tonight. Nevertheless, he will pick up 6 points as his totals doubled here for the joker, but Ron Sullivan in red puts the Australians in command. Tony Ricardson second place is enough to earn him 6 points. Thomas Gollop beaten for the first time, but they'd be wrong twice in a night. They're coming fairly wide. The man on the inside Dribble well wide, almost taking the line of Yannick Hampel. Away goes the starting marshal. Hampel keeps it down to lead them into that first bend. The Australians are in second place, but now Todd Wiltshire's been overtaken on the outside by Ronnie Pedersen. And if it stays like this will be what Poland want to do, but they may, just may not be able to use a tactical joker. Let's see what happens. Yannick Hampel out front in blue, heading the man in white, Ronnie Pedersen for Denmark. Australia's Todd Wiltshire third, now being put under pressure by Peter Carlson. The tactical sub for Sweden, Lucas Dribble, on a strange bike, is at the back.
Yeah, Hampel back to his best. He got a great start off gate 2, hit the front and really has got a lot of pace. There, Ronnie Pedersen hanging on to second place. Wiltshire putting him under all sorts of pressure. But again, I do question the tactics from Poland. I think they should have played a joker here, Tony.
You're absolutely right, because if it finishes like this, they'll only be 7 points behind and won't be able to use it as they go into the final lap now. Lucas Yannick Hampel out front, for the Australian coming through into second place is Todd Wiltshire. Really, the Poles want the Australian to finish second, I have to say. But now into third place goes the man in white. There in second place is Yannick Hampel wins in blue, second place in white. There is Ronnie Pedersen, third in the red helmet colours there, Australia, Todd. Red helmet colours there, Australia, Todd Wiltshire. Doing the calculations here, that moves Australia, I think, on to 49. 2 could be crucial. They've got to change. Kasper is in green in place of Bo Brahel. A late replacement here for the Czech Republic as a tactical
substitute. And the Poles at the back, Gollop's at the back, Tony.
Yes, Thomas Gollop has to go by 1. He goes by Kasper. Thomas Gollop has an awful lot of work to do. It's not going right for the Poles. But out front now for the Swedes, that's Tony Ricardson. And Tony Ricardson is leading a heat tonight at last here in the yellow helmet colours. In second place in red, that's Todd going well. That's
Jason Lyons.
Yeah, Jason Lyons got it right there.
And here comes the dame around the outside. Nicky Pedersen gets around the outside of Jason Lyons. But out front, Tony Ricardson really looks like back to his best. But again, I think the Poles may have just blown it, because certainly Gollop looks stuck back there in fourth place.
Yes, they've completely blown the tactical substitute, the Poles, but the Swedes, Tony Ricardson has got it right at last for them here now, going into the final lap ahead of the man in white, Nicky Pedersen. He's in as a tactical substitute for the Danes. The Australian Jason Lyons is putting him under pressure, but this will be enough to keep the Australians in command as they take the checkered flag, and Tony Ricardson does it in yellow. Second place in white goes to the tactical sub, Nicky Pedersen for the Danes. Third in red is Jason Lyons.
Just keep focused on this race, because anything can happen right now.
Heat number 23, Lee Adams goes for Australia, who lead the field at the moment. The red helmet colours, but on the inside, Hans Andersen gets a flyer in white ahead of it. Second place in blue for Poland, Peter Protasevich. Round the outside goes the tactical substitute, Bo Brahel for the Czech Republic. Now the Aussie Lee Adams is moving into third place. Relegated to the back is Peter Protasevich, who's had a disaster and has failed at the back, and Poland are well and truly out of this now. Moving into fourth place rather, Niklas Klingberg for Sweden, but the Aussie in second place is Lee Adams, out in pursuit of the Dane, Hans Andersen.
Yeah, pretty tough first lap for Lee Adams there. He looked like he was stranded at the back round the first corner, but he's picked his way through in the second place. Hans Andersen out front looking good at the moment, but the Swede back in fourth place. That's undoing all the good work that Rickardsson did in the previous one, and Brel really just skidding in the way, to be quite honest, because the Czechs are out of it. But very nearly out of control there, but just about hands on to Andersen.
Into the final lap goes Andersen in front, but only just. Australia in second place, but Australia could be world champions if it stays like this. Australians in the red helmet colours. They've got to win it, and they're not going to here, and they need one more race at least.
Lee Adams was awfully lucky there. His bike packed up as he went across the line, but he's got the points in the bag, and he'll be...
I think he just held on to second place on the starting gate here. The man in red's the one to watch, Jason Crump. He's pursued to the first bend. Peter Carlson picks it up, but Crump is now in third place, and this will be enough. He could make second here, but the Dane is going down the outside is Bjarne Pedersen. The Pole is back in fourth place. That's Thomas Golob in blue. Back at the rear in green there is Alice Trimmel. Crump would not normally settle for third place, and I wonder if he will here, Kelvin.
No, I don't think he will. I think he's coming under an awful lot of pressure from Thomas Golob, but Bjarne Pedersen again really starring here tonight. Came flying past Peter Carlson, flying around the outside. And right now, though, the Aussies are hanging on to those 2 points, and it looks like it could be their night.
Less than half the race to go. Down the back straight, Bjarne Pedersen in front for Denmark. Back in second place in yellow for Sweden is Peter Carlson. But the man all this crowd is watching is in third place. It's Jason Crump. These points will be enough for Australia to take the world title. They now have 250 metres to go. Crump looks like moving into second place. The battle for second place is crucial. Out front, Bjarne Pedersen is going to win it, but the Australians will be singing because Jason Crump takes third place. Jason Crump ensures the Australians now can celebrate because they have won the World Cup. Bjarne Pedersen may have won the race for the Danes. The Swedes may have come second, but the victory is there. It's glory for Australia. They are World Cup champions, and Jason Crump, a man we've seen so much to the fore in Speedway in recent years, has once again won the World Cup for Australia with a heat to spare. Jonathan Green's in 2002 here at the East of England Showground. The heads are down, the tapes fly up, and away they go. And on the inside, Michael Carlson steals a march for the Swedes. Round the outside for the Aussies. Looking to put icing on the cake is Ron Sullivan. Down that back straight in pursuit of the Swedes. In white there is Nicky Pedersen for Denmark. Taken wide on the inside, the pole is Christoph Sigelski. But the Australians are celebrating yet again because Ron Sullivan is extending that lead, extending the victory celebrations. A great ride by Sullivan.
Yeah, this is what we're used to from Ryan Sullivan. He came out of gate 5 and he swooped round the outside. And Nicky Pedersen there forging past Michael Carlson. What an effort by the Danes tonight. They have ridden out of their socks. They really have surpassed everybody's expectations of their team this evening.
Well, the Danes, we know about their effort as a team. They've done brilliantly here in the race-off. They've done brilliantly here tonight. And it looks now as if Nicky Pedersen will take the second place. That will put the Danes into second place in this World Cup here tonight. Back in third for Sweden is Michael Carlson. The winner undoubtedly will be Ron Sullivan. But now we're going to see some celebrations for the Danes as well. In second place, Nicky Pedersen salutes the crowd. Third in yellow is Michael Carlson. Fourth in blue for the Poles. There is Christoph Sigel.